videos from all over the internet that's going to make you question everything. Let's just start.
Did your mom force you to eat Sam?
Yes. There was a victim named Sam. He was 8 years old from Chicago. Or at least that's what my parents told me. Most traumatic night in my life. Like, my mom and dad were like, he's your new brother. We had dinner with him. They called it the Last Supper, and afterwards they sacrificed him. So it was my turn when I was 5, almost 6, to solely sacrifice a child, and it was Sam, the 8-year-old. We just had dinner with him. I love Sam. I'll never stop loving Sam, and I'll never betray Sam. I think that he's a big reason why I'm here today recovering, because it was such a traumatic memory that I've held on. But during that ritual, we had dinner with Sam, and I thought he was my new brother, and I was so excited because I'm like, this brother, this 8-year-old's gonna save my broken family. And after the ritual, things changed pretty quick. Roles in my family changed throughout the years. For example, my older sister started to graduate towards the cleanup role, which was my father's role. So during the exact ritual itself, my older sister wasn't there. I remember me on the right, my younger sister on the left. My mom was behind me, and she gave me a knife for my right hand, and she told me to do it to Sam. I wouldn't. I couldn't. And I thought either something really bad would happen to me or Sam would get let go. So there was a lot of communication in this ritual. My mom was saying, you have to do it, you have to do it. And like I said, she always had this sense of urgency. She was just getting so mad at me. And I thought she would take my hand and make me do it myself. And that's not what happened. She gave it to somebody else who looked very disassociated and did it themselves.
Did your mom force you to eat Sam?
Yes. That was my consequence for not sacrificing Sam. And it wasn't the first time I was fed human flesh. Thankfully, my mother cooked it. I've heard of other stories where they don't. But because it was Sam, someone who I grew an attachment to, I feel like that was me drinking the Kool-Aid or taking sips. Like, that's kind of what enabled me, or a big factor, to go into denial, because I felt so guilty. And I will say, I didn't eat any of them fully. Like, I had this thing where I would chew it up, and then when my mom wasn't looking, I would put it under a blanket or in a milk glass. She never said anything to me about it, thank God. But I feel like I did that to help alleviate some of the guilt.
Sure.
And I think it might have worked, too.
I regard myself, Chris, as the greatest failure that ever walked the planet Earth.
Why?
Because I am. Because I didn't achieve the very basics. I'm the could have been man. Of course, it never dawned on me I'd get to this age and be practically penniless and not have a profession I should have, right? Or money. And I know in my heart I could have been top in certain things. And I wrote 2 plays, which I'm very proud of, and they've been sitting there for 20 years. Because I've been alone all of my life, I'm psychologically alone since the age of 4. There's 9 million people in London, and I don't have a single friend.
If you could train your brain to think ahead of your environment, to imagine a future that hasn't happened yet, and make it so real in your mind that your body begins to respond to it as if it's already real, how much power would you have to change your life? Let me tell you something. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real-life event and what you're vividly imagining. And that one simple truth can transform your life. Today, I want to teach you how to trick your brain into creating a future of unlimited success. Let's start with something most people understand: repetition. Think about a musician learning a new piece of music, or an athlete practicing a skill. What do? They repeat it over and over. That repetition wires circuits in the brain. Over time, it becomes easier, more natural, more automatic. This is what we call physical rehearsal. The beauty of physical rehearsal is that it transforms the unfamiliar into the familiar. When you pick up a guitar for the first time, it feels awkward. Your fingers don't know where to go. But after weeks, months, or years of practice, you don't even have to think about it. Your hands instinctively know the notes.
True that.
This is how the brain works. It thrives on repetition. But here's the thing. Physical practice alone isn't enough to reach extraordinary levels of success. It's the first step. But what separates the good from the great, the average from the exceptional, is something far more powerful. Mental rehearsal. The greatest athletes, musicians, actors, they don't just practice physically. They also practice mentally. Before they ever step onto the field, the stage, or the court, they sit down and rehearse the act in their mind. They imagine every move, every note, every step in vivid detail. Why? Because science tells us that when you mentally rehearse an action, your brain can't tell the difference between what's happening in the real world and what you're vividly imagining. To the brain, both are the same. When you rehearse, you're installing neurological hardware. It's like planting seeds in a garden. The more you rehearse, the stronger those circuits become, and your brain begins to think, I've already done this before. So when the moment comes to perform, it feels natural, effortless, automatic. This is why mental rehearsal is the champion's secret. It's not just about the body, it's about the mind. It's about creating a blueprint for success before you even take the first physical step. Most people use their brain like a record of the past. They replay old memories, relive old emotions, and reinforce the same patterns. Think about it. How often do you find yourself dwelling on a mistake you made, or an opportunity you missed? How often do you let the emotions of the past dictate your actions in the present? But what if I told you your brain could become a map to the future? That instead of being stuck...
I smile when I'm angry. I cheat and I lie. I do what I have to do to get by. But I know what is wrong and I know what is right. I'm a master of truth in my secret life. I saw you this morning. You were moving so fast. I had to relinquish my grip on the past. But I turn to you still like a man to his wife, though I'm held in the chains of my secret life.
Magnet free energy.
Man, I need to get rich. You know what my type of rich is? A functioning drug addict type rich. That's what type of rich I want to be in life. I want to do so much dope on a yacht in the middle of nowhere and just be rich. Like when I get rich, I'm going to have all the finer things in life. And I'm going to look down on people. That's what type of rich I want to be. I want to look down. People always say be humble. No, get your money up and you be humble. I ain't going to be humble. I'm going to be trifling for life. Trife life for life. That's how I'm coming too. Yeah. People are like, well, what would you do? Would you give back? I'm not giving back to a nigga at a HBCU. I'm not giving back to a nigga dying in the ICU. That's what type of rich I'm going to be. Hey, that's your fault. Would you give back to the homeless? I'm not the reason they homeless. It's not my fault. Why I gotta give back to them?
So
That's their fault.
pathetic.
Yeah, they took a bad bag of dope. I'm gonna have that pure stuff. I'm gonna be so rich, I'm gonna fly to where the
Crazy.
dope is made. And then I'm gonna play with my nose. That's
Play
what
with
type
your
of rich
nose?
I wanna be. I wanna be that type of rich where I can fly to the Connect in another country, get my good dope, and then play with my nose. That's what type of rich I want to be. Everybody
that's
want to
crazy.
give back. What would you do for your mama? She lived her life. She lived it. That's on her. I give her a little 20,000, man. You know, here you go, mom. What would you do for your kids? Shit, I don't know. I don't even know be that nigga life after that. Shit, I'm rich. Niggas don't really need their daddy. Man, hey, bro, niggas don't need their daddy till they about high school age, man. So I'll come back when you're in high school. But I'm rich, man. I buy a nanny. I don't need that type of responsibility when you rich. Nobody take care of their kids when they rich. That's my type of rich.
Makes sense. Damn it. Damn, she's going. She's gone.
Okay.
All right, start your alphabet.
Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S.
Oh, she's gone.
The way a man becomes a loser in a relationship is he becomes overly feminized. One of the symptoms of being overly feminized is talking about emotions and getting emotionally upset. Now, it's okay to talk about positive emotions with the woman you're in love with. You're so beautiful. I love you so much. I missed you. You're my sweetheart. Oh, I'm so disappointed because I didn't get to see you. Oh my gosh, I care so much for you. These are all feelings, emotions, but they're positive. When women say they want feelings from men, they want positive feelings from men.
Watch there be nothing.
What's that?
It's a door within a door. Pull it, pull it.
Scarier.
Pull it. Is that glass?
It's plexiglass. I fucking heard noises.
Dude, fucking do it.
Ugh.
Why won't you do
Do you
it?
hear it
Why are you
echoing?
giving?
We have to do it now.
To do it. Ooh, did you hear that? Okay.
Holy shit.
What's in?
Are you?
It echoes.
This is insane.
Oh.
What's
There's
that?
a flashlight in my backpack.
Go get the flashlight.
It's in the top.
What the fuck?
It's a shitty flashlight.
This got me so much
Oh, it doesn't
invested.
make any
Crazy.
difference. This is so deep.
Bro, but you can see it, like, there. Hold on.
There's a ladder.
No.
Yeah. I'm not going down
No,
the ladder.
absolutely not.
And this flashlight is shit.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
We need a rock.
Yeah, hold on.
Find a rock. A big one too.
Okay.
Holy shit. I think we're gonna get haunted now.
Okay, yeah.
This is crazy.
There's a 500-year-old statue of a man eating a sack of babies, and nobody knows why. In the Swiss capital of Bern, a centuries-old statue continues to puzzle visitors and historians with its grim imagery. The sculpture, known as the Kindlefresser, which translates to child eater, dates back roughly 500 years and portrays a man devouring a child, with a bag full of other children slung over his shoulder. The statue's origin remains uncertain, and its meaning has long been debated. Some theories suggest it served as a warning to misbehaving children, while others propose that it may represent a folkloric ogre or carry darker, possibly anti-Semitic symbolism. Regardless of its intended message, the Kindlefresser remains one of Bern's most haunting and iconic monuments, drawing curiosity and controversy in equal measure.
Okay, y'all, so everybody's out here making videos, talking to trees like, touch me if you can hear me, and that's cool and all, but what does it mean when you have a group of hummingbirds surrounding you, hovering around you, and even landing on your fingers? Do you know how rare that is, y'all? Hummingbirds don't play that. Do you know how much of a high vibration you have to be in order for them to be attracted to your frequency? These birds are highly elusive, high alert, high speed, and they're very selective with who they share their energy with. And for one to come to you, that's wild. But a whole group of them, y'all, that is divine. And look at her just sitting in her chair like she's used to this, y'all. Look at her. She looks a bit perplexed, but that's normal because our whole life we've been dealing with things that don't really like us too much, y'all. This baby goddess must be on a whole nother frequency. You see, that's why they're calling hummingbirds like like frequency, like a mantra, like vibrational resonance. People just don't attract hummingbirds. Your aura has to be magnetic, just like bees to a flower. This is ancient ancestral energy returning through the use, y'all. Look at her. Look at the birds. See, this is exactly what our children are supposed to be doing when they're young, y'all. That's why they call it elementary. They're supposed to be working with the elementals, and they took them out of their environment because we're literally Pocahontas running with the animals and everything like that. They disconnected it from us. Now it's coming back naturally. Y'all see this? The shift is here, y'all. The signs are all around us. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Did you know that there's a button in your car that can cause you to lose 50% of your cognitive performance? That button is the recirculating air button, and the reason why it can become dangerous is because it can lead CO2 levels to build up in your car to levels that are not very safe. Rebreathing CO2 is also a concern during anesthesia, and it also has a lot to do with how we get our bacon at the store. Let me explain. If you have just 3 people in your car, you can reach CO2 levels of 4,500 parts per million in just 10 minutes if you're recirculating the air. And it only takes 1/3 of those levels to cause a 50% decline in cognitive performance. I am an anesthesia provider, so when you come to the hospital to be put under anesthesia for surgery, this anesthesia machine is going to breathe for you and keep you under anesthesia, but it's also going to prevent you from rebreathing dangerously high levels of CO2 using this right here. Here's another picture of the same thing. This stuff is called soda lime, and it absorbs your CO2 within your breathing circuit so that you don't keep rebreathing it. And as you can see, it gets purple when it starts to become exhausted with CO2. Another example of this is the way they put pigs to sleep at a slaughterhouse. This is a CO2 gas chamber for pigs. They're going to go into one of these cages, go down into this chamber where the CO2 levels are incredibly high, and then they're going to come up on the other side, and they're going to be completely 100% unconscious, which is what eventually happens if your CO2 levels get super, super high. So next time you're on a road trip, especially with 3 or 4 or more people, maybe crack the window to dilute those CO2 levels a little bit every once in a while to keep them from building up.
I was today years old when I found out that Ford designed cars to run on alcohol so people could have true energy independence and create their own fuel at home, but then Prohibition prohibited the production of ethanol, and then everyone turned to the gas. He was at like fighting with Standard Oil. I don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore because everything's a fucking lie.
A lot of people are saying they gained a lot of respect for Dr. Phil about this one. What do y'all think?
And look at this map that I did a show about this. The red is where Chinese government has funded buying major farmland. Yeah. And then superimposed on that are some of our most strategic military bases. Yeah. And you can see there's Dugway Proving Ground. That's military equipment, biological chemical weapons. They're surrounding it. Utah Test Training Range, the largest supersonic authorized restricted airspace in the United States. Whiteman Air Force Base, B-2 Spirit Stealth Bomber Base, missile drone operations.
What?
M3,
Chinese are taking over
Reaper, Global Strike
the US.
Command 3,
Crazy.
Fort Liberty, Airborne Special Operations Forces, Rapid Deployment. We've allowed them to come in and buy up agricultural land, wind farms, no wind, no blades on some of the towers.
Apple has just dropped iOS 26, and there are some massive changes. So here's all the features you need to know about. Starting with the fact that they've completely skipped iOS 19 and jumped all the way to 26. This is because for the first time ever, not only are they syncing up the names of all of their operating systems, but they've also just dropped their first ever universal design across all Apple devices. In fact, this is actually their biggest and broadest redesign since 2013. And of course they got a name for it. It's Apple. It's called Liquid Glass. And you better like it, because it is everywhere. Almost anything that was a solid color before now is liquid glass, and they say it's to make all the content on the screen look more singular and seamless. Other features dropping on iOS 26 include an automatically resizing clock that fits whatever wallpaper you choose, full screen album covers on your lock screen. The camera app is now completely decluttered and only shows you the 2 shooting modes that you use most often. They heard how much everyone hated the new Photos app, so they changed that too, thank the Lord. They redesigned FaceTime and made that even more minimal. Web pages will now run edge to edge thanks to a liquid glass. They announced Hold Assist, which allows you to lock your phone and then will notify you when someone actually answers. You can now have backgrounds in your messages, you have polls in group chats because democracy. There's now real-time language translations on calls, and it'll come in the form of captions and a spoken AI voice. Oh, and this one is wild. A new feature called Visited Places tracks the locations that you've been to and logs them. You know, just in case you go somewhere you can't remember and want to go back. But because they know this feature is a home wrecker, they did say that you can delete the logs and make them private. You'll be able to have digital ID for domestic travel. Apple Pay will now pull transactions and emails together so that you can know if that thing you ordered for $30 the other day actually arrived. Also, visual intelligence can now see the things on your screen. But it's not only for shopping. You can do things like add potential events that you'd like to be reminded about to your calendar, and even ask ChatGPT questions about what you're seeing on your screen without having to leave the app. Yes, Android have been able to do this for ages. They said iOS 26 beta is dropping today, and then there'll be a full public launch next month. So the question is, what do you think? Did Tim cook, or is Tim cooked?
Did you know that the woman's womb is a soul portal? Did you know that the man's phallus can actually siphon from that woman's energy if she is the right caliber of woman and she's got the right type of energy about her, as in she's done the healing or she's somewhat there and she's dealt with all those soul ties and those attachments. Now, a man siphoning from that energy will instantly make him glow up, make him more confident, make him more successful. Basically, she's opened up another dimension for him. And if he is of the wrong type of energy, that woman therefore ends up completely drained and depleted, looking weather-worn, and looks like she has aged by 10 years plus, because the energies are not balanced. I talk about this because of personal experience. And I spoke about this in depth well over a year ago. And that video blew up. That video went viral because I was speaking about that spiritual energy exchange that happens during that particular activity. In this day and age, unfortunately, people treat it so casually. They do not treat it for the sacred act that it actually is. And then they wonder why their mental health is at an all-time low. Because you're taking on all these different attachments from different bodies. It's not just a physical act, it's also a very, very spiritual act. When you come away from that and you start to awaken, and by coming away from that, I mean abstinence, celibacy, no dating sites, there is no point, don't bother. Stop running and chasing and looking for another body. Now, I know a lot of you will say, but we're human beings. A human being needs another human being. I understand that. I do. But it has to be the right human being. It has to be the right person that has completed their healing. You have to be on the same vibrational frequency. That man should be abstaining for quite some time. That man should be healed. And that woman should be doing exactly the same thing. The way the world is going, a lot of people aren't doing that. There's some sort of codependent issue going on within them. There's this need. I need another body. I need another human being. I need that person to make me happy. I need that person to complete the void within me. I need another person to fix me and heal me. You're putting such high expectations on another person when you haven't even looked within you and done your own healing first. That is wrong. Let's face it. And that is going to cause complete and utter chaos. By understanding the level of spiritual exchange that takes place during that activity, you will educate yourselves a lot more. You will understand how sacred it really is. You will then understand your own self-worth. You need to protect your energy. You need to protect your temple. Your body is your temple, so treat it as so. And this is where I have found me. This is where I have found my clarity and my peace and my happiness. It didn't just happen overnight. It was a dark time. It was such a dark night of the soul. It was a huge process I had to go through. It was a deep self-awareness. I had to see parts of me that I wasn't happy with, that I was ashamed of. But I got through it bit by bit. You can't just expect to take an oath of celibacy or just abstain and then magically everything's going to be great. It doesn't work like that. And then again, it's different for everyone. Each individual is different from the next. But I had a lot of cleansing to do within myself spiritually. But with that came a great awakening. With that came a heightened spirituality and a clarity. Would I ever want that to be disrupted ever again? No, because it took a lot of hard work, grit, sweat, blood and tears to get to where I'm at today. Am I fully healed? No. Am I still healing? Yes, I am. But I am almost there. I can see the finish line just on the horizon. And it can be the same for you. This is why I promote it so much. I promote it because the pain that I went through actually gave me that awakening. It did wake me up. There's always purpose in that pain. You're not a victim of what happened to you. You're a survivor of what happened to you. And you can go from surviving to thriving and living your full best life.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, and this one might just blow the lid off of everything that we've been told about the war in the Ukraine, because just hours ago, President Donald J. Trump, yes, Trump himself, leaked a stunning private exchange with Vladimir Putin, and what he revealed has the media scrambling and world leaders in panic mode. According to Trump, this latest massive Russian missile barrage, over 200 drones and warheads raining down on Ukraine, wasn't just revenge. It wasn't just retaliation either. It was a trap. The Ukraine walked right into it. Civilians hit in Kiev. Guys, ask yourself this. Why would Putin tell Trump this, right? And more importantly, why is Trump choosing to reveal it now at this exact moment? Because what you're about to hear connects secret NATO sabotage missions, media cover-ups, and a devastating intelligence failure that the Biden White House is praying that you never learn about, guys. So in today's video, I'm going to unpack exactly what President Trump has just leaked, these claims, Putin's possible setup, and the biggest airstrike of the war may have been exposed. It may have exposed something that's far more dangerous than just missiles, guys. So stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you guys exactly how Trump called this months ago, how Russia may have known Ukraine's playbook in advance, and how the entire world may have just witnessed a trap being sprung in real time. Do not blink, guys. Don't trust the headlines and don't go anywhere, because what Trump just revealed, this changes everything. If you haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button for the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's break this down, because the moment Trump dropped this bombshell, everything changed. Trump claims that in a private conversation off the record, Vladimir Putin warned him that Ukraine's recent moves weren't just reckless. They were predictable. And not only predictable, they were exploited. According to Trump, Putin expected the sabotage attacks on Russia's long-range bombers, and even hinted that this provocation was exactly what the Kremlin needed to justify a full-scale, high-impact response. And folks, let me tell you, that response came real fast. Trump's words suggest that Ukraine didn't just trigger the strike. They walked right into a military trap that had already been set. And if this is true, Putin was just waiting for a reason to press launch. Then of course, if that's the case, this wasn't just a strike. It was actually a trap that was sprung at the perfect moment. And yes, you guessed it, guys, Ukraine took the bait. But before we go deeper into what this really means for the global strategy, let's talk about what just happened on the ground. Now let's talk about what Putin's trap actually looked like when it was unleashed. Russia launched over 215 drones and missiles in one single night. Let that sink in, guys. According to Ukraine's own air...
Someone's probably going to think I'm reaching, but if you notice that if you look down at the ground is still and it's not moving. But when you look up, you'll notice that the clouds are moving. And it's only when we look up that we actually see a change that's happening. And you're not going to see the change if you continue to look down.
True.
But it's only when we look up
Interesting.
that we notice that things actually can start to shift and change in our life when we look in the positive direction, which is up.
Do you have any idea how horny Christian people are? I mean, I just need to put it out there because I think there's like kind of a stigma still around Christian women of like, they can't feel that way. They don't feel that way. I do. I'm telling you, as soon as the wedding is over, we'll probably sneak out, honestly. We'll sneak out of our wedding. Okay, I have to go.
So you mean to tell me the quote's been wrong this whole time? It's all a goddamn mind game. It's all a mind game. So you know the quote that goes, blood is thicker than water? That's not even the actual quote. The quote goes, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Which completely changes the whole fucking meaning of the quote. At first it means you basically have to stick by your relatives no matter what they do, which is toxic as hell. And now what it actually means is you don't have to do that. The people that you meet in your experience of life, that could be your family. I swear they did this shit on purpose. And that's not even your family, for real. That's not even the definition. Exactly. They're working on like renaming it or re-identifying it. Those are your relatives. Your relatives are people that you share, you know, that blood connection or that DNA with. Family is deeper than that. Your relatives could be your family, but not necessarily. It's time to wake the fuck up, yo.
Do you think a woman should be president?
No. No, because a woman will have a monthly and she'll drop the atom bomb. Oh, I mean... I still think the president, a man is more powerful in that position than a woman.
And we've come to the end of the video. You heard it from old ladies who are really experienced in life. So, I mean, hey, they've said it all. And we've come to the end of today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share with your friends. And also click on the notification bell icon so that any content that I post, you will be the first to get it. Adios, amigos. Bye.